Hi folks, the Filipina Pea here, and I just arrived here in Leyte to get ready for this year's Christmas special, which is gonna be amazing. 2 years ago, we went door to door handing out presents and food to an entire neighborhood. And last year, we threw a feast for the whole barangay and gave away laptops to students that not only needed them, but deserved them too. But this year, we've really outdone ourselves, and 10 days from now, you'll see what Santa P has up her sleeve, so you don't want to miss it. But for the next few days, I'm kind of stuck here in a hotel room, and since I've been busy traveling all weekend, I'm just gonna have one of those casual chats I like to do every once in a while. I normally don't like to say much about myself because I like to have a private life away from YouTube, but today, I'm gonna break that rule and tell you 10 things no one knows about the Filipina Pea. Unknown fact number one. I love horror movies, but only if they're scary, not gory. If a movie's creepy enough to keep me on the edge of my seat or gets my hair to stand on end, which would look really strange in my case, then it'll keep me interested. Even if it's got a lot of those cheap jump scares where the guy closes the medicine cabinet in the bathroom and there's someone in the mirror standing behind him with a knife, I still like those, especially if there's a good plot. And if the killer proceeds to saw the guy's head off in graphic detail and throw it in the sink, then that's not the movie for me. Scary is the thing you know is there, but don't necessarily see. And yes, I absolutely love zombie movies, and for the record, the old-fashioned, slow-moving zombies are much scarier than the ones that somehow have, this superhuman speed despite having a brain full of worms. That makes sense, folks. Okay, fact number two. I don't like to spend money. Who does? Well, in this part of the world, I'm one of those Filipinos that will make a tube of toothpaste last for 6 months by squeezing and twisting the tube to get one last blob out of it. When my shampoo gets low, I actually refill it with water to dilute it so I can get that last satisfying drop. And I've been known to repeat the process till there's virtually no shampoo left in the bottle, like a homeopathic hair care. I think it might have been my childhood that made me that way because we grew up so poor that it was considered a crime, literally, to waste a single grain of rice. Lucy and I ate lunch at Jollibee's in the airport yesterday, and they give you rice with your meal. Those rice cakes wrapped in a paper. But unlike most Filipinos, I try to avoid a lot of starchy carbs, so I didn't want to eat it. But I couldn't. I just could not throw it away. Every fiber of my being was screaming at me, and I could see my mom's pissed off face hovering above the table, so I actually asked the guy sitting next to us if he wanted my rice cake. And fortunately, he took it. So thank you so much, airport guy. And since we're talking about trying to eat right, here's fact number three. I'm actually a gym rat. Believe it or not. Now that the pandemic is over and the gyms have reopened, I've been able to start going again. I used to go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week, but now that I'm doing YouTube 24/7, I can only make it twice a week. But that's better than nothing, so hopefully I'll be getting in good shape again in no time. I can't be ugly and fat at the same time. Maybe I'll even do a video of my workout routine sometime. Sweating with the P. Number 4, my belly button is freakishly deep. You know how you can usually see the bottom of a belly button if you look? Well, not mine. It's apparently an endless pit. And I bet if anybody went spelunking in there, they'd find more than a license plate and a 10-pound tuna. I have no idea why it's like that and no clue what it means, but no one's ever cared before, so neither do I. Number 5, which is really 3 different things. I don't like crowds, I don't go to parties, and I don't have a lot of friends. Um, I don't think I've been to any kind of party in over a decade, and that's probably because I'm uncomfortable around more than one or two people at the same time. It's not that I don't like people, well, most of the time. It's just that I prefer to have a deep conversation with a close friend instead of worrying about entertaining everyone in the room. So I guess you know what I think about orgies too. As far as not having a lot of friends, I usually just live inside my own head most of the time. Don't worry, guys. I'm okay. My mommy had me tested. I'm not crazy. And for the past 3 years, I've been too busy to do anything besides work. So, in fact, other than hanging out with Gracie a few times, I haven't socialized with anybody but my family. Everyone assumes I spend time with the people from my videos, like Fritchie, Yam, or Angel, but I've never seen any of them except when I'm filming. So, I guess you really could call me a hermit. Number 6. I've never used tampo in my life. Not tampon, but tampo. I think it's really immature and it doesn't work, in my opinion. For those of you guys that don't know the term tampo, it's when a Filipina gets angry about something and gives you the silent treatment for a really long time, from hours to days, depending on the severity of the crime committed. It doesn't solve a single thing, in my opinion, especially not with a Western guy who's just gonna use your tampo tantrum to get some peace and quiet. I like to talk things out and be as calm and logical as possible. Getting all quiet and refusing to engage with your partner is pretty much the opposite of that. So, no tampo for me. 7. Okay, this one will probably surprise you. I've said before how much I love 80s music because, in my opinion, it was the last time there were actual musicians, and it didn't matter what you looked like. It only mattered what you sounded like as a group, which is the whole point of music, right? Well, there's another kind of music that I really admire for the same reason. Big band music from the 1940s. You know, like Glenn Miller, Benny Goodman, Ella Fitzgerald. They still play it on the radio here sometimes, and there's nothing quite like it. In fact, I like it so much that the next time I sing a song for you guys, it's gonna be big band music. Danny Kaye, to be exact. On to number 8. I hardly have a jealous bone in my body. People never believe me when I say it, but you know what, guys? Jealousy just isn't an emotion I feel very often. I'm the kind of woman that'll point out the cute girl in case you missed her. And even if you try to make me jealous, all you'll accomplish is making me disappointed in you for trying to upset me. I know it's very un-Filipino of me, but you already knew I was different, right? And that takes us to number 9. My guilty pleasure, which I rarely indulge for obvious reasons, is French fries dipped in ice cream. Now, before you wonder what the hell is wrong with me, just hear me out. There's something deliciously compatible about a hot, salty French fry and cold sweet ice cream. It's like every flavor and texture at once. So if you ever find yourself sitting there with both of them in front of you, just remember that P said to give it a try. Unless, of course, you don't like it, in which case you can totally forget who suggested it. Well, those are the 9 facts that nobody knew about me until now. Not that anyone cares. Thanks for cutting me some slack today, guys, and I'll be back on Friday with something fun. Till then, folks. This is Mission Control. Go ahead, Apollo 13.
Houston, we have a problem.
Well, I was just about to go to lunch. Can it wait?
We are venting something out into space. It's got to be the oxygen.
So you still have some oxygen, right? Then I think what you meant to say is that you will have a problem in the future when the oxygen runs out. So why are you bothering me now? Just call back when there's an actual emergency.
We had a pretty large bang.
You heard a bang. You're calling a Filipino to complain about a loud noise?
One whole side of the
Spacecraft is missing.
Which means that one whole side of the spacecraft is in perfect shape. Why do you have to be such a glass half empty kind of guy?
We have a main bus B undervolt, Oh, there's another master alarm, Houston. We've got a ping's light.
Fire doesn't make any sense.
We got multiple caution and warning, Houston.
Oh, you Westerners, and you're complaining. Now I'll tell you what I can do. When I get back from lunch, I'll fill out the request for assistance form, and if the flight director shows up today, I'll make sure he sees it. Until then, stop overthinking things. Just relax and enjoy the view. Bahala na! By the way, there's a 20 peso fee for submitting the form, which has to be paid in cash, in person, before we proceed with any assistance.
Gentlemen, it's been a privilege flying with you.
Americans. Yeah, I know there were supposed to be 10 things, so here's the final one. After I did the interview last week where the women were talking about what kind of foreigner they wanted, and almost all of them said circumcised, I got at least a dozen comments asking about my preference, so here it is. Drum roll, please. Now, I'm not just saying this to be diplomatic, but I don't really care either way, because unless there's a maintenance issue, a hooded cobra is just as appealing as a topless torpedo. See you Friday! If you think about it, I'm kind of like your stewardess, making sure you stay in an upright position during the video and guiding you to the exits. The exits of all your worries about life in the Philippines. The captain has asked that you please give a thumbs up on this video and subscribe to this channel. And for your entertainment, we have a selection of other in-flight movies for you to enjoy. In the case of an emergency landing, place your head between your knees and kiss your ass goodbye. Have a nice flight!